What's up, my friends? This is Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. Our guest today needs no introduction. Most of you know who he is. You've seen him online. You've seen him marketing, and he's definitely one of the good guys. As we spend time in this industry, just like any industry, you see and you learn about people. You see people having success, and then as you spend more time around them, you really get to understand who are the people who have good intentions, who are the people who do it right and still get massive results versus the people who just, not particularly that they're bad people, but they just don't do things right. They just don't have the best integrity, or they just don't. And Brian's just not one of those guys. He is one of those dudes who, absolutely values profits, but also values people. And we're going to talk about some of the secrets that float around inside of his head, and that he uses inside of his business. Some of the principles, the strategies, and the philosophies that make his business what it is. So with that being said, Brewer, what's going on, brother?
Hey, what's up, Dave? Thanks for having me on. Hey to everybody who's on here live, watching the replay. You just appreciate everyone who's tuning in and jumping on with comments and all that stuff. And just happy to be here again, Dave. Thank you.
If anybody knows Brian, let's give him a big, huge digital legendary round of applause in the comments. I know you've probably got tons of people who already know you and follow you, and you'll have tons more here by the time this is over. If you guys want to find Brian out on TikTok, you can follow him at Brian Brewer Official, and we'll leave that up for the majority of the show. So, it's interesting, man. I saw somebody, who had posted something on social media actually this morning when I logged on for a moment. And basically what it said was it was a meme of a bunch of porta potties on fire. And it said, if 2021 was a scented candle, and so, yeah. So, and I said to my wife, I said, what's interesting is to some people this year is one of the worst years of their lives. I mean, they're caught up in whether it be politics or whether it be all these various topics that are outraging people, and that they're spending time on social media fighting with people. Maybe they've not made any changes. The pandemic has not inspired them to make any changes in their job or their financial situation. They're the same person with the same negative perspective as they were back in 2019 before all of this stuff happened. And I said, isn't it interesting? 2021, besides all of the folks who have been affected by illness or financial stress, I have compassion for those folks, but I'm blessed and grateful to have a skill set in a business and that not only allows us to have a fantastic year and take advantage of all these people coming online, but also gives me an opportunity to spend more time with my family. And I said, aren't those two different realities, right? Aren't those two different realities? And I think that so many of us focus on the mechanics, which is just tell me where to click, just tell me, just tell me exactly what to do, and if it can be done for me, then that's fine. But don't want to work on this piece, this 6 cubic square inch space that sits on top of our shoulders, that essentially is the software that runs everything. And we'll talk about some strategies, but I wonder, just to kick this off, what is, if you were to say the one of the most useful mindset tips or perspectives that you use and that you have or that you've developed over the years to use in your business, what do you think one of those might be?
Yeah, so mindset is interesting, and it gets talked about a lot from a buzzworthy standpoint, but I don't think people end up diving into it like they really should. There is some benefit, I think, in the, hey, tell me where to click, tell me what to do in the very beginning. For instance, pre-written email swipes. If we can provide those for an absolute beginner that help facilitate the conversions on a specific product, that's great. Sometimes that's the head start that people need. But where we run into issues, I think, as folks trying to become better entrepreneurs and trying to make more money and trying to be more successful, is what happens after the fact, when we have to start thinking for ourselves, when we have to start solving problems on our own. And that's where mindset, really, really, really comes into play. And when you talk about things like the pandemic, and I don't know if I can say that without getting us shut off, so I probably just screwed this whole thing up. Sorry about that. But anyways, the point I'm getting at it is, yeah, you can look at the dumpster fires or the outhouse fires and focus on that. But we have to remember that where we focus is where our energy goes. So we really have to focus on what we can control and what we can do and the opportunities and really who we can help and who we can serve. So that's the first thing. Service has always been, in the forefront of my mind, at least since I've started seeing consistent success. Maybe before I started seeing consistent success, I was more focused on the money. But beyond that, I guess the reason we don't focus on our mindset as much is because that's not as exciting. Like when we launch a funnel, we can physically see that. And when we start driving traffic to it and start generating leads, we can physically see that. And when we get that first commission or that first $1,000 a day or that first $30,000 month or whatever our next goal is, that's amazing. That's tangible. That gets us excited. The mental stuff, that's kind of the boring stuff. And, as I said to you just a moment before we got started, sometimes, you gotta remember that boring pays the bills in a lot of ways.
And you did say that to me before. I said, Brian, I said, I want to twist your arm today and I want you to spill some of your secrets. And he said, well, well, one of my secrets is that boring pays the bills. And I said, well, will you explain that to us on the show? So tell everybody, including myself, what you mean by that.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, let me preface this with a big, important, hold on just a second, disregard everything I just said, because as marketers, we can't be boring. It's just not going to work. We need to use those exciting hooks to get the attention, to stop the scroll, to get people to click on our ads, so we can then have an opportunity to relay our message and get people to start to consider our messaging, which is all comes into account when we're building congruent affiliate marketing campaigns. So we can't be boring. But when I think of boring pays the bills, what I think about is the movie Rounders. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Rounders, Dave. It's with Matt Damon and Edward Norton. And it's probably an old movie. I'm probably dating myself, but let's say it's 15, 20 years old now. And it's about card players. They're poker players, right? And, Matt Damon, he's one of those guys. He's like, I'm out there and I'm going to play big. And I've got $30,000, which he calls 3 stacks of high society. I'm going to push it all in and go against the Mad Russian and see if I can't double up or triple up or, see if I can put him on tilt. And guess what happens? He gets wiped out. Well, who does he call? Well, he calls his friend Kanish and, he says, man, I need some help. I need some money. I need to be restaked because I'm wiped out. I got to get back in the game. And basically, to paraphrase, his friend gives him this story. Like, hey, guess what? You know what? I'm a grinder. I go up there. I do the work every day. I sit down at the poker table for 5 hours a day or 3 hours a day or whatever time I have. And I don't bet big, but I win and I grind. And guess what? My kids eat. And so that's kind of the reality of the situation is, yeah, there's excitement. There's awesome things that happen when you make your first $1,000 commission or your first $2,000 commission. And you want to go attack that. And when you see the opportunity for momentum, that's when you have to step on the gas. You absolutely have to step on the gas once you start to see a little bit of momentum. But it's the boring things. It's the posting daily on TikTok. It's the checking your emails and see who reached out. It's the, oh boy, I haven't gone viral in a week. Maybe instead of just doing the same old thing, maybe I strategically test 4 different hooks and see what's working right now. Yeah, boy, it's the weekend, but I can spend 5 minutes to create a post in my Facebook group or check in to see how everyone's doing. Those are the boring things that absolutely have to be done day in and day out. And like I said, it could take 2 minutes, it could take 5 minutes, but they have to be done consistently over and over and over again. And that's how you start to see the compound effect. That's when things start to happen, because that one check-in on that email, that one response to that one email might net you $1,000 commission or $2,000 commission, because people just wanted to check in and see, hey, is this legit? Is somebody going to respond to me, or am I going to be left hung out to dry. So,
Yeah.
that's kind of the whole mentality that I think gets lost on us exciting marketers from time to time.
I agree, and it also can be. There's two things that specifically came up for me when I was getting clean in 2008. The thought of doing the daily necessities and rituals in order to do proper self-care, to take care of myself, to get clean and sober for the rest of my life were overwhelming. And what I was told was, well, Dave, just do it just for today, and that was like something that was I could grasp, right? I was like, okay. And oh, by the way, I don't even know if I'm going to still want to be clean and sober tomorrow or next week or next New Year's Eve. So they said, don't worry about that. Just focus on today. And that's probably one of the hardest concepts, although it sounds simple, the hardest concepts I've ever wrapped my head around, because it's not about the getting overwhelmed with going and doing TikTok videos or going live every day at 10 a.m. with somebody for 30 to 60 minutes. It's not about thinking about doing that for the rest of my life. Oh my gosh, how am I ever going to go on vacation? How am I ever going to get a break? Am I real? Oh my God, how are we ever going to find that many people? I mean, when we first started doing this, it was like, are we going to have that many people?
Right. Panic City sets in, right?
then as we started reaching out, we're like, holy crap, we got waiting lists, a month long, so that came up for me just because of my own experience. Get just focusing on the activities that I have to do today, the grind, the boring, whatever, right? Because it's not always exciting. It's not always like every day isn't the first day. The first day of any job is exciting. And then you're 30 days in and you start to get to know your boss and the person you sit next to, and they all look like goblins and smell like fish. You hate them all, but you were just excited about it 30 days ago. The other thing that, that sort of came up for me was that that I think that we are truly, as entrepreneurs, specifically understanding our brain chemistry is really important. And the dopamine and the adrenaline and the serotonin and all of these these chemicals that make us feel excited and happy and in love and all this kind of stuff, all go off at the beginning of anything. The beginning of a relationship, the beginning of a business, the beginning of buying a new course. And that's why so often we see people get so excited buying something and then don't even log in, because just the simple act of purchasing can be addicting, because it's the start of something new. It's like getting a package from Amazon. And so recognizing that our brain is set up like that our body is set up like that to fire off those chemicals at the beginning, and that is going to wean down in decrease that, and we have to find ways to get excited, to reignite the passion, and also to operate in maintenance mode versus always in startup mode. And I think what many entrepreneurs do, Brian, is they start up really exciting, boom, 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 gets boring, self-sabotage, quit, stop, right before the miracle happens. And then going along, okay, starting something new. Yes, this is really exciting, and then maintenance mode kicks in and it's like, well, that's boring. Boom, stop. Does that make sense to you? Do you agree with that?
I mean, that makes 100% sense. And that's exactly what this whole game is all about. I had the opportunity a couple weeks ago. I attended the ClickFunnels Funnel Hacking Live. Part of the reason I was there was, I'll show this off as inspiration, not bragging, but I got to get this Dream Car Award trophy, which was really cool.
Humble brag, hashtag humble brag,
yeah, brag. Exactly. So you get those when you refer enough people to ClickFunnels, which produces a nice passive income stream there. But the reason I wanted to bring that particular event up is because the keynote speaker, the person who finished that off, was Tony Robbins. And given the world in the state it is right now, and people a little hesitant to be in crowds and all the logistics that come in to play when you're setting up an event like that. The bottom line is Tony Robbins doesn't perform or speak live, as much as he used to. So I thought it was a tremendous honor, and the ability to see him and the opportunity to see him was huge. And, kind of to talk about to the mindset thing and everything you just covered, a lot of what he talked about was knowing your why. Why do you want to do this? Because like you said, in the beginning, it's going to be exciting. When you buy that course or you invest for the first time or you launch a new funnel, right? Like that feels like progress, and that feels exciting, and that hits the dopamine, and it's like, here we go. But that's going to fade. Like you just said, it's going to wean. And that's when people self-sabotage. Well, if you know your why, why do you want to do this? It's not because of the money. What does the money provide? Or maybe you want to truly help people and realize that the more you give, the more you get, or whatever your why is, if you want a bigger house or whatever it is, that's what you have to keep, focused on. And, and that's really where we as entrepreneurs, and I didn't invent this. This is coming from great people. Like, you have to get out of your head and you have to get into your heart. And that's where your why comes from. It comes from your heart. And the coolest thing I heard Tony Robbins say is, think about this. When someone's pregnant, when someone's going to have a baby, how do you determine if they're pregnant? With the exception of chemical tests where you pee on a stick, what do you look for the heartbeat, right? So the heartbeat starts before the brain. That's how we determine life. Even from the youngest, 8 weeks, 9 weeks old, we're looking for a heartbeat. And so if we can focus on more in our heart and get out of our head, which is Tony Robbins says, if you're in your head, you're dead. Get into the heart, know the why. That's when we're going to be able to overcome those dopamine drop-offs, and we're going to be able to stay focused, continue moving forward. And, another thing that you said that was interesting was you talked about day one. One of the most successful companies that I can think of right now is obviously Tesla and Elon Musk, but I also think of Amazon. If I'm not mistaken, Amazon's mantra or mentality is it's always day one. And to me, that's like, got to keep the excitement. We got to go out there and decide, how are we going to build something great today, even if it's 90 days down the road, 120 days down the road. What are we going to do today that we can build something great? Yeah. And, just to follow up on the first thought you had, you talk about, this show, right? Like when you wanted to do this show, like, okay, all those things I got to do. How are we going to get all these guests? How are we going to keep this up? How am I going to go on vacation? Well, all that is just fear manifesting itself in some sort of tangible way where we can see it. And that, that's everything. If you feel like you have imposter syndrome, if you feel like you can't do it, if you're afraid to go on camera, if you think you're not pretty enough to go on camera, or handsome enough to go on camera, or you don't think nobody's going to pay attention, all it comes down to is fear. That's all it is fear holding you back. And just an example of this show, you go live, you have a little bit of faith, you jump in, you do what can help the business grow. And guess what? Like you said, here you are, 30-day waiting list to get on. I know you contacted me about a month ago to get on this show, so I know that's legit. I know it's a 30-day waiting list to get on. So that's incredible. And, I know that was kind of all over the place, but I just wanted to respond directly what you said, because it was, this mindset thing, as we started talking about, it's so important to really focus on.
Well, I wonder how many of you can relate to that, who are listening. How many of you are great at starting things, but not so great at finishing them? How many of you can identify that you get really excited at the beginning of businesses or relationships, but you sort of, that excitement wears off, and you moving into maintenance mode of either a relationship or a business is something that isn't as it isn't particularly your sweet spot or where you're comfortable at, and the reason why this came up for me is because I was literally just talking with one of my coaches yesterday, and we were talking about that exact thing. We were talking about the transition from startup mode to maintenance mode. And startup mode could literally be 1-2 years, it could be 3 years. But going into maintenance mode, where things are somewhat stable, or to where you've been doing things for a specific amount of time, and you feel like, I'm having a hard time getting to the next level or whatever. and I feel like I'm sort of stagnant, or you could use many things to describe it, but it's I see this as being such a common thing with entrepreneurs, and it ties in perfectly with the boring. The boring pays. The bore and I like the distinction between that. Doesn't mean we want to be boring in our marketing, but we want to embrace the boring activities. And I also think it's easier as you get older to do that too, right? The older we get, for me, the more routine and structure is important. And back some years ago, Brian, I don't know about you, but I was a free spirit. I didn't want any structure. I didn't want any calendar. I didn't want any commitment. I didn't want anybody telling me where I needed to be, and I didn't want to have to be anywhere at a specific time. And as I became an entrepreneur, that became even more of a like a belief system about who I was and who my identity. And that started to cause problems for me. It started to cause problems in my business, and it started to cause problems in my marriage, because I've got kids now, and I'm dinner's at a specific time, and when dad strolls in 20 minutes late or 30 minutes late or whatever, because he was working and he was in flow state or whatever, right? I mean, we can sit here and say that, oh, your wife or your spouse needs to support you, but that's not real life. They do support you. But being a member of a family is something that I had to grow up and learn how to do, especially with kids. And being in a business, in learning that creating specific structure and oftentimes creating boundaries, like, hey, I'm working right now, and no, I can't come and meet you, pick you up. No, I can't come and go to the grocery store with you right now. Whatever it is, I needed to either get help with structure and get help with routine, which I did in many, many ways for my wife. And I also needed to learn how to set boundaries with my time and respect my time more. See, having structure and boundaries and working on a calendar, I learned that was ways that I could respect myself and respect my time. And by saying no to other people who wanted me to be on their agenda versus what I was doing, or wanted me to come out and socialize versus what was really a priority. By saying no and setting those boundaries, that was respecting myself, and it was respecting my family, and it was respecting my why. Did you go through that process at all, or do you still have that come up as something that you're working on regularly? How have you embraced structure? And what are some ways that you set boundaries with your calendar and your time to respect your why?
There's really two things that came up for me, and I've been through both of them, and probably will still continue to go through them in some degree. But you talk about, I don't remember the exact words you used, but you talk about, things start going, and then you get into this self-sabotage, right? Because you don't want to do the boring, you feel stagnant, you start looking around, and back in 2018, I think I talked about this one of the last times I was on this Wake Up Legendary show, is back in 2018, I successfully blew up a $50,000 a month business because, I don't know, I got bored or whatever it was, you know what I mean? And I stopped doing the things that were working. But yeah, as far as that goes,
you have that experience, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I might want to come back to that in a second. I don't want to interrupt your flow, but I want to make a note of that. Please continue.
Yeah, we could definitely dive into that, because that's something that a lot of people face, and it's part of the reality. And then that's the reality of business. It's not like you make it and then all of a sudden, boom, it's done. I made it. I'm never going to struggle again. So that's why, even if you're just getting started, I know there's a lot of different people on this call and a lot of different people watching this replay who are going to be in various states of starting and growing their business. But even in the beginning, like when you're first struggling and you're not making any money, or you're having a hard time getting your funnel set up, or whatever current struggles you have, embrace that, because you're always going to have the struggles, and it's just going to be a different set of struggles. And the only thing that happens is the struggles don't disappear. It's just the stakes raise. Now I'm dealing with struggles, and all of a sudden I got $1,000 a month car payments, or whatever, and then $4,000 a month mortgage, or whatever. As you grow, your expenses are going to keep pace to some degree. But anyway, back to your time, restricting your time or scheduling your time. I was the same way too. I was like, I don't want anybody to tell me what to do and when to show up. And then when you start making money, it's like it like throws gasoline on the fire. Like, holy crap, I don't have to listen to anybody anymore.
Right.
Which is a whole nother story, which we won't get into. But anyway, the point is when you get so free spirited and freewheeling, and this is relevant to people who are just getting started as well. You're just like, I'm just going to roll in and work when I want to and not when I don't. You can really fall into the trap of like you said, a flow state. It's like, okay, now I'm working. Okay, I'm in that flow state. So since I've set up this freedom or whatever, now I'm working from 5 p.m. when I get home from work until 1:30 or 2:30 in the morning, which is great. But the next day you're gonna be burnt. And now all of a sudden you're gonna be like 3 days, like, oh man, I put in an 8-hour day after an 8-hour day yesterday, and it just kind of wears you out. Whereas what I found is like when I started scheduling, which I was just deathly afraid of, it was like, oh, well, I really don't have that much to do today. And it started to be like, okay, cool. I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. Guess what? I can get that done in 2 hours. Then if I want to go to lunch with my wife, I can. You know what I mean? So that scheduling, which so many of us are so afraid of, actually is a tool to keep us on track and keep us focused. And it really increases the efficiency, I believe.
One of the things that I did, Brian, is and my wife and I did, and I really got to give her a lot of credit for that. Hear that, honey? I'm giving you a lot of credit for this. Always got to earn those brownie points. You know what I mean? Got to, as a marketer, got to let them know all the bonuses and let them know how good the offer is. But my marketing business taught me that, always announce what you're doing, so they know, because those brownie points matter. They add up, and then you can cash them in. So yeah, man, like we started to do the same thing every week, right? You want to talk about embrace the boring. All right. I want to give, this just came to me because your concept, your topic of embrace the boring is probably one of the most powerful things that I've ever done. And this is another way that I did it, Brian, was when we especially had 2 kids, but even when we only had one little one at home, we started to run our week the same way every week. So on Tuesday, we would have a late night and be able to do whatever we wanted. Friday, the same way. So our nanny would stay late those 2 days. Every day, nanny would come. We would leave the house at the same time, and we work in a separate building, a separate home, versus working at home. Yeah, it's just something that we love. We love it.
Love it. Which helps. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we get to leave the house and no kids and all that. It's kind of like going to an office, but you just go to another house, right? So anyways, every week looks the same, right? Every week looks the same. It's not like, what are we doing next week? When are we going to get our own time? When do we have a night for a date? Every week it's already scheduled, dude. It's already done. The nanny has a schedule, and it's the same every week, and I can do whatever I want in that time. But for me, I also have a problem with telling time and how long are things going to take, so meaning that I don't have a good sense of time. I have a good sense of direction, but I don't have a good sense of time. And it's one of my weaknesses, my sort of shortcomings. So it's helped me to be able to know what to expect. And then I can put the things that I want to do, whether it's work related, whether it's recovery related, whether it's, personal development, whether it's social and fun related, I can put them in those places throughout the week and not have to wonder or go months on end without personal time, without going on a date with my wife, without taking care and doing self-care and doing recovery or personal development stuff, because it's already scheduled. Right. Now, when we go on vacation, that's a totally different story. The other thing is, at home with our children, we've got a routine to where every day we eat dinner at the same time. We give baths at the same time. We go to bed at the same time. So our kids are not up and, going crazy and not knowing what to expect. Those routines, again, have to give my wife a lot of credit for this. as an entrepreneur, I was so resistant to those for a long time. Those routines have helped me to be more productive and also to spend less energy planning what I'm going to do. It's the same reason why I wear kind of the same outfits every day. It ends up being a good branding strategy, but it's also, I don't have to sit in front of the closet for 10 minutes trying to try shit on and figure out what I'm going to wear for that day. It's already done. It's why I drink the same smoothie every morning. It's already done.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these things that are already scheduled and already picked out and done for me allow me to put more energy and more time into my business. Now, some might say, Dave, that sounds like a boring life. I can assure you it's not. It's actually a very relaxing life because I'm not constantly wonder what I'm going to do today, where I'm going to eat, when I'm going to eat, when we're going home, I don't have to worry about all that stuff because it's already planned. So I'm not saying that's a good fit for everybody, but Brian, that's exactly in alignment with what you were talking about with embracing the boring.
Absolutely. And, it's funny you mentioned that time management thing because it's a big joke in my family what a Brian 5 minutes is. Yeah, I'm sitting on the computer in the office, dinner I can hear is getting ready or we're getting ready to leave to go to whatever. Oh, yeah, 5 minutes. My wife always chimes in. So you mean 15? I go, maybe 9. So it's just kind of maybe something that's similar with entrepreneurs.
Totally.
But yeah, when you were talking about this and talking about the structure and before you even mentioned the clothing, I'm thinking about like the Mark Zuckerbergs and the Steve, the late Steve Jobs of the world who they're pretty much looking the same way every single day. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to reduce the number of decisions that they have to make in a day that don't move their business. Because I think we only have a certain capacity for decisions in a day. And I think we hit a threshold at some point where we've made too many decisions in one day. And if too many of those read on, what sort of toothpaste I'm going to use, what time I'm going to go to the gym, what shirt I'm going to wear, what I'm going to have for breakfast. I eat the same thing for breakfast every day. I don't buy a ton of clothes. I buy nice clothes, but I don't buy a ton of them. That way I know, hey, boom, just kind of go down the road and I know what I'm going to wear, just basically the next one in order. And it's not something that I set out and said, hey, I need to do this in order to be successful. But as I became more successful, I started thinking, okay, what can I do to improve the efficiency? What can I do to move the needle? So entrepreneurs also always looking to solve problems. How can we solve problems? So if you're a beginner and you're watching this and you're like, that's great for you guys. You have systems that are in place and systems that are working. Some people watching this live or watching this replay might think to themselves, Dave, I don't even, or Dave or Brian, I don't even know, like, I've never set up a funnel. So I'm going to dive in there and I'm not going to know what to do. So here's a little tool that I think anyone can use. If you can't set routines quite yet, because you don't know what the day is going to look like, what you can do, I think, which is helpful is in the morning, before you pick up your phone, before you get started, right? Take 2 minutes, take 30 seconds, take whatever you have to first put yourself in a proper state, not a state of stress, because you don't want to make any decisions in a state of stress. What you want to do is put yourself in a proper state where you think about something you're thankful for. So you can think of it as a gratitude moment, or just physically, put your hands over your chest and think, wow, I'm thankful for this. And that'll put you in the proper state. Then the next thing you need to do, or you can do, is say, hey, here's the 3 things that I absolutely need to accomplish today in order to move my business forward. And that could be as simple as opening my ClickFunnels account, or they could be as simple as, hey, deciding which autoresponder I'm going to use, or, it can be as simple as, hey, I'm going to do, day 6 of the 15-day business builder challenge, or I'm going to meet with my advisor. It can be simple things, but just decide, okay, these are the 3 things that I'm going to do that are going to move the needle today. Then guess what? Now you're like, okay, cool. When I'm done with that, I'm done. That's my reward. Or, boy, I'm not going to get distracted, and I'm not going to have people pull me away from what I need to do, because, hey, I know these are the 3 things I have to do. And if you stack enough 3 things over time, guess what? Before you know it, you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish.
Yeah. And really in order, because what if you only can, what if something does come up, or that first thing takes you longer than expected? Always start with the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's one of the things that I've learned is start with the most important thing that you have to do, because that, I mean, and this is just such a golden boulder. I mean, if you folks, what Brian just said, if you take one thing away from this call, that is such a golden nugget. Make a list and then put that number one most important thing at the top, and just focus on that thing first. And if you knock it out, great, you can move on. But if you don't, and it takes longer, you can give yourself the time, and you don't have to rush yourself to do it right. And if it, a lot of times we think about it, we overestimate what we can do in a short period of time and underestimate what we can do in a long period of time. And 365 powerful things in a year. If you did 365 major moves over the course of a year, it's so much more than what most people do or accomplish, because oftentimes people's list or wish list or to-do list never even gets touched, or they're just too busy getting ready to get ready and they never even start. So if you start and you accomplish one thing per day, that's 365 accomplished tasks. And that will move the needle in your business so far, so far. It's just, I'm telling you, it is so underestimated how much that moves the needle to accomplish one big thing per day. So thanks for bringing that up. I wanted to touch on the $50,000 blown up business, because I think your experience in that is so valuable. I'm sure you've told the story before. I don't particularly remember how it went down. So I'd love to hear it again. And I'd love for people to just learn from your experience of being in this industry, and not just all what you do right all the time. I want to learn also from some of the mistakes that you've made and some of the things that you wouldn't particularly repeat. So tell us about that story.
Yeah, I'm glad you touched on that and circled back to that and made a note of it when it came up, because I think it's really super relevant to the situation that a lot of people are probably facing in this group right now, or are going to face. So this was, there's no exact dates on anything. A decline kind of gets set in motion before the numbers really to reveal themselves. And what I mean by that is, you start to sabotage, and things still go pretty well for a while before it really starts coming to a head there. So, just to kind of give the short version of it, back in 2016, 2017, that's when I went all in on kind of the model that's I use now for anyone who's familiar with my business. Lots of content on YouTube at this time. Now I do a lot of YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, but this was back 2016, 2017. I was pretty heavy on YouTube, and it was my first go on YouTube. It was the first time I was putting my face out there. Before that, I was just behind the scenes, product review blogs, making some money, but nothing really significant. And it was in the e-commerce space, and I had done some e-commerce and drop shipping in 2015. So I thought, okay, cool. People really want to know what's going on here. People are really interested in this. Let's start teaching it. I know Shopify has a great affiliate program. Let's create some courses and give them away for free, and leverage that affiliate program, other affiliate programs. And things were going great, and it was the right time for me. E-commerce and drop shipping interest was starting to explode in 2017. There weren't a whole lot of us on YouTube teaching it. And I mean, money was flowing fast, and lists were growing quickly, and YouTube channels were getting, 100 subscribers, 200 subscribers, sometimes 1,500 subscribers a day. And things were going cool. And, by this is about September, October, November 2017. And I was like, wow, cool. I can't believe this. I went from a waiter making 50, 60 a year. Now I just crossed $50,000 in a month, and we're talking profit here at this point. And, I was like, wow, this is amazing. So obviously that kept me fueled for a little while, but then the boredom started to set in, and it's like, okay, I'm doing the same thing. I don't feel like I'm growing now. Hey, guess what? More people are coming to the YouTube platform and talking about, this drop shipping thing. So it's getting a little diluted. So, the combination of things happened, and just to kind of jump forward a little bit, basically I was like, I need to pivot. Right. I need to do something different. And in doing so, I turned my back on a conversion process that I knew was working. I turned my back on an educated and even more, ever more educated market that was interested in that drop shipping thing. And I shifted to something else, like, okay, well, let's teach email marketing or whatever. I mean, that just shows you how bored I was. I just wanted to do anything different. And I think the first thing I realized is I had all this fanfare and stuff because I was helping so many people. And then when I switched topics, nobody followed. It was like, oh, no one gives a shit about me. They give a crap about what they give a crap about, right? You know, and it's like, yeah, they're interested in drop shipping, not stupid email marketing. And, you know, over time, you know, then you can't go back because you burned all your bridges or you cut your ties or you made your grand proclamation of drop shipping's dead or whatever it was. And you know, over the next year, you know, my business went down just about every month, consistently decreased and decreased and decreased. And a couple of quick lessons from that. First of all, if you go onto YouTube today, there's still people start talking about drop shipping and e-commerce. So obviously it wasn't dying. So I probably jumped the gun. You know, I see that a lot now with TikTok. You know, it's like, yeah, October 2020, boy, it was a good time to be around. But if you missed it, it doesn't mean it's over. You know what I mean? You know, TikTok is still a great platform to get views, just as YouTube is, just as Facebook is, if you do it the right way. You know, people are still interested in learning affiliate marketing. If that's what you're promoting, you know, it's people are still interested in it. But you know, another thing that I kind of learned from that is I lost focus on helping people in a way they wanted to be helped. And once you lose focus on the customer and providing you know, value and really playing the game that needs to be played, then everything can fall apart. So if you're in a situation where maybe you've been promoting something for a little while and you had a little bit of success, if you're in that boat and it's starting to go down, guess what? It's not over. We still have proven conversion processes. The same things that made you money 6 months ago are still going to work now. You just kind of got to either reignite your spark or tap into your why, or something you said, Dave, on, I don't even know who you were talking to. It was a random wake up legendary call that I don't have time to be on all of them, but I do step in from time to time. You said something about you don't have to build, you know, I don't know if you said you don't have to build another house if you want to change up. Maybe just build a different door to the same house. You know, maybe build a different door to the same offer. And I think that's something that could be super helpful for those who have seen a little bit of success and then, you know, with whatever they're promoting and start to fade a little bit. Okay, maybe not find something different to promote that's not validated in the market, that doesn't have a proven conversion process that was making you money. Maybe instead just come at it from a different angle. Reignite your passion, reignite the passion, curiosity, interest of your existing audience, which will then help bring in more like-minded folks, and things can be good and exciting again without blowing up your whole business.
Dude, this is wow. This is like huge. Matt and I were talking yesterday about some ads, just going over some ads that we're running, and you know, we so often when you're running a campaign or doing a specific strategy, whether it's a paid strategy or a free strategy, if you're not quite hitting the numbers that you want to hit, I mean, especially if you're spending money on paid ads, for example, the tendency can be, all right, kill it. You know, it's not working, right? And I went through the campaign and the funnel yesterday, and the big takeaway, the big change that we saw that we could make that would likely make a significant difference was just changing up the landing page. Just changing the landing page. That was it, you know, to something that has never been seen before, right? That's just brand new, different headline, different color, right? And sometimes it's just that simple. You know, we were getting a 30% opt-in rate on a specific landing page, and I said, I'm pretty confident we could double our conversion rate by split testing a different landing page. And what that would do would double the amount of leads that we were getting. And that's doubling your business in one day,
With no
right?
more ad spend, with no more,
No more ad
no more
spend,
clicks, just
nothing different.
better
Just a
conversion.
literally less than 5 minutes. It's going to take me longer to play around with headlines than it is to copy and paste that headline onto the page and maybe tweak the color or something. I mean, that literally doing that inside of a ClickFunnels is a 60-second thing.
Mm-hmm.
Hit save and it's done. So yes, I believe we throw the baby out with the bathwater. We absolutely cut our nose off to spite our face. Any and all things that describe us just quitting right before the miracle happens. I mean, really, and it's a very common thing that we do. I think that's a massive golden nugget. The other thing I took away from your story was that yes, these business models like affiliate marketing, these business models like email marketing, even, which essentially is a kind of another way to say affiliate marketing, right? Because you're just collecting emails and then emailing people offers. They've been around for longer than we've all been on the internet, and they're going to be around for longer than we'll all be alive.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee it, because it's just a proven business model that even large companies like Airbnb and Uber have adopted, just in a slightly different way. It's connecting people who are in the market for a product with the company that sells that product and getting a broker's fee, a referral fee, an affiliate commission. It's all the same thing, right? Getting a referral fee is something that has been around long before the internet, and affiliate marketing is just the digital version of getting a referral fee for making a connection.
It's amazing. So I don't know, like this is a new binder I just started, and this is I am always looking for the next big opportunity because that's what I do. But I'm also smart enough now and have failed enough and have blown up enough businesses that were successful to know, hey, if this is working, still focus on it. So for example, if we're talking about how I promote Legendary Marketer or how I promote ClickFunnels, you think I'm going to turn down, you think I'm going to blow that business up anymore? Absolutely not. I'm just going to work on making that as efficient as possible so it hums along. So anyways, the point I'm getting at is, so now it's like, okay, cool. What else can we do on the back end, right? Not change my front end strategy, but what can we offer on the back end to increase the lifetime value of my leads and stuff like that. But anyways, I'm going through notes and I'm studying all the greats and, making different things. And the only thing I have in this big box here, and I know you can't read it, but I'll read it to you. And the reason I put a box out this is kind of the key to the exponential business, right? If we're thinking, like the success Legendary Marketer has, if we're thinking the success that Apple has, and what it is, it's the key idea here is to put the distribution in the hands of the customers. Right. If you can do that, right. Like if Apple fans are fanatical. So, I'm on my MacBook and I have my iPhone, I have my AirPods, and I have all this stuff. And guess what? If someone says, what do you have? I say, I have an Apple, you know what I mean? And that's how Apple fans are, because so really the fans of Apple, the customers handle a lot of the quote unquote distribution in the way that they've created this community. Well, that's what affiliate marketing is. That physically puts the distribution in the hands of the customers by saying, hey, you like our product? Great. Go recommend it to other people, and we're going to pay you a referral fee. So if you're in this affiliate marketing game or you're studying this affiliate marketing game and you're like, boy, this sounds like a passing fad, which it's not, or this sounds like something that I could do for a couple of weeks or a couple months, and then I want to do something different, I would suggest maybe getting that thought out of your head, because affiliate marketing is here to stay. It puts the distribution in the hands of the customers, and that's the secret to an exponential business. So it's a good business to be in. And it took me a long time to get comfortable saying I'm an affiliate marketer. But guess what? I'm an affiliate marketer.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be silly. I have a pile of checks beyond the digital payouts we get. I don't know where they are. My wife must have picked them up, but we get multiple checks per, and I'm talking about physical checks still from various affiliate things, whether it's products on ClickBank that we're testing and running to be able to teach our students or whatever. Just getting checks for referring people. Wouldn't it be nice if we got paid to talk about Apple products? I mean, and every time we wore AirPod, we're in front of a couple of hundred people right now, and a couple of thousand or more will minimum will see this replay. I mean, wouldn't it be nice if we had if we got paid for that? We don't. But one other thing that came up in your story for me, and I knew what you were talking about, but I want to elaborate from my perspective a little bit in case anybody else didn't know what you were talking about. But at least this is what I thought you were talking about: selling people what they want, not what you want for them, or not what you are passionate or whatever about. Was a big learning lesson for me back in 2015-ish. I was really, really into kind of a sort of a heart-centered, I guess that would be one buzzword, a very, very personal development style business. And I was selling that specifically. My entire audience was all business opportunity seekers, people who were basically proven to buy products to make money online. We're less interested in personal development stuff. They would listen to it, but they weren't proven to buy that. So I was trying to sell my audience of business opportunity seekers. People were saying, I want to know how to make money online. And I had already been successful selling them products of how to make money online. And I'm now turning and trying to pivot and sell them all kind of personal development style coaching. And they didn't respond to it. They didn't buy it. Right. And I'm sitting around scratching my head going, man, I mean, this is, well, I don't understand why they're not responding to this. But it was because I was trying to sell them what I wanted them to buy, what I was interested in at that time, because I was going through a massive growth spurt and transition in my life, and sort of stepping my recovery, my personal development, all that up another level. And so what was going on in my life, entrepreneurs typically tend to project that onto their audience in their business, right? And
that's a game I like to play with other people in the space. I like see what they're posting on Facebook. I'm like, I know what they're thinking right now. Maybe that's the card player in me, but it's like, yep, I know what you're going through right now.
I know, man. And it's like entrepreneurs, typically online marketers and entrepreneurs in this space, project what they're going through in their personal life onto their business. And it's not a smart thing to do. Being authentic and even being yourself, being genuine is cool. That works. That's a cool, good thing to do. Be as genuine as you can, give a shit about people, but projecting what you're doing or going through or overcoming or are interested specifically in your personal life onto your audience, your audience is proven to be interested in something, and they're following you for a specific reason because you started talking about a specific topic. And when you transition to now talking about something different or even promoting something that's different, it only makes sense that they're like, it's confusing to them, because if they wanted that, they would have got it from somebody else initially. Mm-hmm. So for me, that was a big learning lesson, because I sold a few coaching packages and things, but it was just a struggle, man. It was a struggle. And I was like, damn, I just got done. I had a company before that was a multi $100 million. I mean, we were super successful, and here I am. I thought, just like you did, that, well, hey, I mean, they like me. They'll buy anything because they're following me and they trust me and all this kind of stuff. But I had a huge reality check, and I was like, it is not about me. This is not music, man. This is not entertainment like the movies. This is topic related information marketing. And and even if I was a country music artist and came out with a rap album, I may lose a lot of my audience. They may be scratching their head.
most people wouldn't succeed. The best way I can put it is, I don't eat fast food a whole lot, but if I want, a Big Mac or whatever, I'm going to McDonald's. Well, what would happen if McDonald's started, cut their Big Mac out and started selling pizza? Would anybody go to them anymore? Heck no. You know what I mean? They'd be done for.
Totally,
and that's the exact same thing that I think you're talking about. And that's the beauty. Just to kind of tie it up, is that's the beauty of affiliate marketing, is you don't have to guess, right? So when people ask me, how do you find products to promote, because I always start with the product. So when I first started promoting Legendary Marketer, the first thing I did is like, okay, let's get into the product, let's learn the product, let's see if this is something that we can get behind and we can believe in. And obviously, fast forward, it worked out great. And then I built my campaign around it and stuff like that. But what I say is, start with the product, because the offer is everything. Find stuff that other people are promoting, because it's validated. Guess what? Affiliates don't stick around promoting stuff that doesn't convert. And then, from there, make sure that there's enough people in the space seeing success. And if that's the case, hey, guess what? People want that product. Now figure out how you're going to promote it with your angle. And I think that's the beauty of affiliate marketing. Like I just said, you don't have to guess. You know what people want based on what's selling.
Yep. Well, brother, man, this has been a masterclass. This has been fantastic, super valuable. And I just can't, if you guys want to meet Brian, I believe you'll be at our mastermind in December. So
absolutely. I'm looking forward to it.
We've already got a packed registration list for that. Cool. And I'm thinking that when we do begin to promote that here in a couple of weeks, or talk about it, and I think we may have you back on a specific live just to kind of talk about that event. If you folks can get a seat to that mastermind to be able to meet Brian, I would jump on that. As I said, the registration list is already full, but we're going to call everybody, make sure that they're still coming. And if some of those spots open up, I would recommend that you jump on that if you can. So there's
something about being in that physical room if you can. I don't know if there's going to be a room, but there's just something about surrounding yourself with people who are kind of thinking the same thing and doing the things that you want to do. That's super, super powerful.
Sure. For sure. I can't wait to do it. It's been too long dealing with all this. So, dude, I got to jump, and I know you have a busy day as well.
Things to do, right?
and thanks so much for your time, brother. It's always a pleasure. Always a
Anytime.
Pleasure. All right, Brian, we'll talk to you later, brother.
All right, sounds great. See you, and thanks everybody who jumped on. We'll see you soon.
All right, go and follow Brian at Brian Brewer Official on TikTok. He is without a doubt a legend. All right, without a doubt, that guy is a beast, and you just heard exactly why I say that. So, my friends, we'll see you back here for another episode tomorrow. Make an investment in yourself today. Do something that scares you a little bit. Do something that makes you step out of your comfort zone, and do today what others won't, so you can have tomorrow what others don't. With that said, peace. I got to run. Get out of here. Shoot. Go. Bye.